Hello everyone, I am Sushila Tipshetty, lecturer at KLS Kopte College of Commerce, Belgavi. So welcome to today's class on Commercial Arithmetic 1. So you guys are finished with your first internal examination. If you have any doubts related to any of the questions, you can contact me during the college hours. So in the previous video, we had started with logarithms and we had seen how to calculate characteristic, mantissa and a logarithm. And as I said, in today's video we will see the laws of logarithms and how to find anti-logarithm. So let's begin. So just like in indices, even there are few rules which are used in logarithms to simplify some of the complex calculations. The first rule is log of m into n can be written as log of m plus log of n. The second rule is log of m and this should be upon log of m upon n can be written as log of m minus log of n. And the third rule is log of m whole raised to n can be written as n into log of m. So this is an important rule. And there's some typing mistake. The fourth rule is log of nth root of m can be written as log of m upon n. So that n should have been over here. So log of nth root of m can be written as log of m whole divided by n. So the root term goes in the denominator. So these are the four important rules of laws of logarithms. So the problems related to these we will be solving once we'll study how to find out the anti-logarithms. So these are the four laws, that is log of m into n, which can be written as log of m plus n. So here multiplication is converted into addition, because instead of multiplication, addition is quite easy. And similarly the division is converted into subtraction using logarithm. And the third law is log of m raised to n is nothing but n into log of m. So let's see anti-logarithms. Anti-logarithm is the inverse function of logarithm. To find anti-logarithm, therefore it means to find the number from its logarithm. It is thus a reverse process. So here you can consider an example. Suppose you want to multiply two numbers, any two numbers. So here m represents a number and n represents another number. So to make it easy, we are using this law. So the answer you get will be in terms of some logarithm number, but you want to get the actual number, that is actual answer of m into n. So to get the actual answer we use logarithms. We use anti-logarithms. So let's see how to find out anti-logarithm. Anti-logarithm of a given number can be obtained from the logarithm table. So in the previous class we had seen logarithm tables. So similarly for anti-logarithm we have another table. For finding the anti-logarithm of a number, the following points should be noted. The first point is ignore the integral part or the characteristic of the logarithm and use the mantissa only. So in the previous class we had seen what is the characteristic and what is the mantissa. So the first step to find anti-logarithm would be you have to focus only on the mantissa, not on the characteristic in the first step. So taking the mantissa, find anti-logarithm from the table exactly the same way as in the case of finding the logarithm. So once you get to know the mantissa, you have to find out the value of that mantissa using anti-logarithm table. I'll let you know how to check the values. But here there is an important note, that is, if the mantissa of a logarithm has zeros immediately following the decimal points, as in here the value is 0.0123 and the next example is 0.0045, etc. So in these cases, the numbers to be referred in the first column of anti-logarithm would be that should have been 0.01 and 0.00. So here in these examples, if you were calculating logarithm, we would have considered in the first column 12 under 3. But here to find the anti-logarithms, you should consider 0, 1 under 2 with the mean difference 3, not 12 under 3. Similarly, for the value 0.005 in the first column of anti-logarithm table, you should be considering the value 0 under 4 with the mean difference 5, not 45. So this note you have to remember. So the next step is the integral part will show now the position of the decimal point in the result obtained. So in the first two steps we were working out only with the mantissa. In the third step the characteristic will show the position of the decimal point in the result obtained. So if the characteristic is positive, the number of integrals in the result will be one more than the characteristic. So we'll solve examples, so you'll get to know it in a better way. So point to be remembered is, if the characteristic of a given number of a given logarithm is positive, then the number of integral digits in the result would be one more than the characteristic. And if the characteristic is negative, the number of zeros in the result immediately following the decimal point will be one less than the numerical value of the characteristic. So if it is negative, then after decimal the number of zeros will be one less than the numerical value of the characteristic. So these are 3 points to be remembered to find out anti-logarithm. So let's see examples. The first example is find antilog of 3.725. So as we have seen in the first step, we will just calculate the antilog of the mantissa part. Here the mantissa is 0.725. So in the anti-logarithm table, so this is a logarithm table which we had seen in the previous class. Here in the first column the value starts from 10 up to 99. So in the anti-logarithm table you can see the value starts from 0.00 up to the values 0.99. So you can find out the difference between logarithm table and anti-logarithm table. Here the value starts from 10 to 99, whereas in anti-logarithms here the value starts from 0.00, because here in finding an anti-logarithm we just use the mantissa part which will be in the decimal. So that's the reason the anti-logarithm table starts from 0.00 up to 0.99. So in the example we want to calculate the antilog of 3.725. So just look at the mantissa part, which is 72 under 5. So in the first column you have to find out 72. which is nothing but over here. 72 under 5 would be, you have to check the value which will be intersecting these two, which is nothing but 5309. So the antilog of 0.725 is nothing but 5309. So we got to know the antilog of 0.725 is 5309. So now let's see the characteristic part. So here the characteristic is 3, that is positive. So there must be 4 digits in the integral part. That is, through the result we got to know it should be 1 more than the characteristic. Therefore the antilog of 3.725 is 5309. If you want to verify, you can check the logarithm of 5309. You will get back to this answer, that is 3.725. So that is why we call antilogarithm as a reverse process of logarithm. So the first step would be consider the mantissa, find out the antilog of 0.725 using the antilogarithm table, and then check with the characteristic. It is positive, therefore it should be 1 more than the characteristic, that is number of digits in the integral part. Therefore the answer is 5309, that is antilog of 3.725 is 5309. So now let's see the next example. Find antilog of, this is 1 bar, that is minus 1.2537. So just like in the previous example, first consider the mantissa part. So here you have to check 25 under 3 plus mean difference for 7. So you will get the value as 1791. The mean difference is 3. So in the table, in the first column, you have to find out 25 under 3. Here would be the mean difference. Under 7, it will be 3. So 25 under 3 is 791. So this is how you calculate using antilogarithm table. So after finding in that manner, you will get the answer as antilog of 0.2537 is 1794. You have to add antilog of 253 plus the mean difference, which is 1794. So now we are done with the first step, that is finding antilog of the mantissa part. So now here the characteristic is minus 1, which is written as bar 1. So as we had seen in the third rule, when the characteristic is negative, the number of zeros after the decimal point should be 1 less than the numeric value of the characteristic. Here in the characteristic we have minus 1. Therefore 1 less than minus 1 would be 0. And the number of digits number of zeros after the decimal point is also 0. So you will get the value as 0.1794. Because the characteristic is negative, so after decimal point the number of zeros is 0. Because the numerical value of characteristic is minus 1, so 1 less than the characteristic value would be 0. So the next problem is find antilog of 0.0435. So as we had seen in the note, here to find out the antilog of the mantissa part, you should consider the first 3 digits, that is 04 under 3 with the mean difference 5. You shouldn't consider 43 under 5. So always remember this point. To find antilogarithm, you should always consider the zeros after the decimal point, not like in the Mantissa where we ignore the zeros. So here the antilog of 0,4 under 3 would be 1104, with the mean difference 5 is 1. So when you add, you get it as 1105. Therefore the antilog of 0.0435 is 1105. So here the characteristic is 0. So the number of digits in the integral part of 1105 would be 1 more than the numerical value, because this is a positive, characteristic is positive, therefore we get it as 1.105. Therefore the antilogarithm of 0.0435 is 1.105. Here you get a decimal point. If it was instead of 0, 2, then you would have got the answer as 110.5, because 1 more than 2 would be 3. Similarly, in this case, if the question was 3 point some value in the Mantissa part, so in the last step the characteristic would be, here it is a negative value, that is -3. So the number of zeros would be 1 less than the numerical value of the characteristic. So the answer would be 0.00, the antilog of this term, because 3 in that you have to less one number, so you will get the number of zeros is 2. Therefore the antilog of -3.2537 would be 0.00 and the antilog value. So this was the basic to calculate antilogarithms and logarithms. So I want you guys to go through with finding the characteristic Mantissa and value of logarithms, and then how to calculate antilogarithms, and be familiar with the laws, that is 4 important laws of logarithm, because in the next class we will be solving problems related to logarithms. So in those problems you have to find out even the logarithm, also antilogarithm in a single problem. So for that you should be very perfect with the rules how to calculate logarithm and antilogarithm. Don't get confused, so be perfect with all the rules. So in the next class we will solve problems. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.